This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Aegis Capital Corp Investment Growth Conference in Las Vegas 2016. With me is Jeffrey Bacha, DelMar Pharmaceuticals. It's a publicly traded company on NASDAQ, symbol DMPI. Jeff, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me again, Shelley.
It's good to have you. Good to have you. Let's get right into it. Let's get an overview of the company, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
Great. So DelMar Pharmaceuticals is a cancer-focused company. We are listed on NASDAQ. As you mentioned, the symbol's DMPI. We listed the company on NASDAQ this past July. We also have completed a phase 2 clinical trial in refractory glioblastoma, the most common and aggressive form of brain cancer. That's with our lead product, VAL083. And over the summer, we were able to sit down with the FDA and talk about a plan to move the drug into phase 3 clinical trials. So we're going to be doing that here shortly. And we're also going to be advancing the drug into newly diagnosed glioblastoma, as well as into ovarian cancer and lung cancer. So we're really diversifying the portfolio as we go through the next several months.
So, brain cancer usually can result in inoperable tumors. How do you treat that?
Well, let's take, for example, the case of glioblastoma, which often the first treatment is surgery. But the challenge is that a surgeon can't take a wide margin of healthy tissue around the tumor because it's in the brain. So it's basically always going to come back after the surgery. So the patient is treated with a chemotherapy and radiation. And the challenge is that 2/3 of the patients fail the available chemotherapies today. We now understand why, and what VAL083 does is it's active against that brain tumor in spite of the repair mechanism that causes patients to fail the currently available therapy. So we'll be able to do something great for 2/3 of the patients that currently really don't have an available therapy.
How does it work?
It's very simple. It's a classic chemotherapy. It's something called an alkylating agent, and it attacks the tumor's DNA. And the trick here is that our drug, VAL083, attacks the tumor's DNA in a slightly different place, in a slightly different way than the currently available therapies, which means that the repair enzymes and the resistance mechanisms that fight against those other chemotherapies don't act against our drug. So we can treat those patients, those 2/3 of the patients with GBM, give them a new therapy that they don't currently have, and do something great for this disease.
Is it, I use the word cocktail?
No, right now we're treating as a single agent in our clinical trials, but it's a great question. And combination therapy is something that everybody's very interested in down the line, especially if you have two drugs with different mechanisms. And we recently announced a collaboration with a company called Acurexa, where we're doing exactly that. We're taking our drug VAL083 with its unique mechanism of cross-linking at the N7 position of guanine and putting it together with temozolomide, the currently available therapy, which attacks the O6 position of guanine. So we'll have those two mechanisms together in a vehicle that can be delivered directly to the tumor, and that's something very exciting that we just started working on together.
Let me go back to the inoperable cancer, because brain cancer, and sometimes it's hard to reach places. Do you bring something new to that therapy?
Of course. Having an active chemotherapy in combination with an immunotherapy or on its own or in combination with radiotherapy is one of the choices when you have an inoperable brain tumor. And as I mentioned, with glioblastoma, 2/3 of the patients aren't going to respond to the currently available therapies, and that's where we come in. We can make a difference there.
Audience of investors are always interested in timing and how long it will be in FDA. I know it's hard to answer, but give us, a rough estimate.
Well, the milestones coming forward over the next several months, first and foremost, moving VAL083 into a pivotal phase 3 clinical trial in refractory glioblastoma. We're currently working on the protocol with our advisors. We're hoping to get that in front of the FDA here shortly and move forward as quickly as we can. Once we start that trial, it should take about a year to enroll, so probably late 2018 we should have an answer. So that's not too far away. In parallel with that, we'll be initiating clinical trials in newly diagnosed glioblastoma, specifically in those patients that have a high expression of the repair enzyme MGMT, which is what causes resistance to the current chemotherapies. We have plans to move into lung cancer as well, and we recently presented data and announced plans to move into ovarian cancer, where we've recently been given an orphan drug designation as well. So a lot of milestones coming forward for us, all clinical, all great for patients. We hope will also unlock a lot of value for our shareholders.
Does something in what you just said institute fast track by the FDA?
Well, we do have orphan drug designation in both gliomas, so glioblastoma, as well as in ovarian cancer. And generally, orphan products are given fast track treatment, so that's something that we'll certainly plan to seek as we go forward as well.
Jeff, as CEO of the company, please, if you would, over the course of the next 18 months, what are some milestones you can share with us?
Well, I think we've been very active in hitting milestones over the last several months. At the end of last year, we were a OTC-listed company with a single early-stage clinical trial. We recently listed on NASDAQ, completed a phase 2 clinical trial, and all of those milestones that I mentioned in terms of moving into a phase 3 clinical trial, completing that clinical trial, advancing into newly diagnosed glioblastoma patients, which is a billion-dollar potentially market, and a game changer for those patients, the two-thirds of the patients that don't respond to current chemotherapy, moving forward into other solid tumors, lung cancer, ovarian cancer, bringing forward a product through our collaboration with Acurexa as well, and hopefully building our pipeline, assuming we have the access to capital to do it. And of course, being on NASDAQ, we hope will open those doors for us as well.
Let's get more information out there for investors. Please give us your website.
DelMarPharma.com and NASDAQ DMPI. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Bacha, DelMar Pharmaceuticals. I'm going to give you a symbol, DMPI on NASDAQ. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Aegis Capital Corp Investment Growth Conference in Las Vegas 2016. What a pleasure, Jeff. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Shelley. It's great to be here.
Good to see you.